Hello and welcome back to Crick-Centric View. So, after the Asia Cup triumph, we were back in India playing in Mohali yesterday, and what a performance! Though most of the first team players were missing, were rested, and it was a young side led by KL Rahul, which did the trick for India. What a performance by Shubman Gill, KL Rahul, Mohammad Shami, and Rituraj Gaikwad, who played his international game after a long, long time. To discuss more and discuss the next two games, I'm joined by Praneeth and Shravnan. Praneeth, how important was that victory last night? And did you see it coming, honestly? Because I thought we are going to go 1-1 and maybe India would just nick it off in the final ODI. But it was a very impressive performance. And Australia, mind you, had most of their playing 11. It was just Mitchell Stark who was missing, and I think Glenn Maxwell, Travis Head also. So yeah, it was at least eight that were there, and to come out one better than them last night was one hell of a performance. How do you see that?
So, overall, I didn't have any doubts with the batting. It's just
Mhm.
that you're going with five bowlers. You don't have a cushion of Hardik Pandya uh, when you need when one of the five bowlers is going for runs. And yesterday, Shardul Thakur was leaking runs. But still restricting them to 270, 280, 280 was really a good thing. And that was something I was not expecting. I was expecting around 40th over. I was expecting it would be somewhere around 310, 315 target.
Mhm.
And in the end, bowlers uh, did really do well to set the target down. And also, I think the new
Mhm.
rules have come in, right? Like that 70-meter boundaries and
Okay.
all other things. So I think that is making difficult for batters to get runs in last 10 overs.
Mhm. Coming to
And
the
even
question of Shardul Thakur, Shravanan, I mean, how critical it becomes when you don't have somebody like Hardik Pandya, right? And if he is opted to play in for as a genuine all rounder, if he leaks runs, then it was yesterday Shami who picked up wickets in his last spell. If something of that sort doesn't happen, then it becomes way too crucial in important games. If Shardul ends up with figures like 10 overs, none for 80 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the total idea behind this experiment also. What happens if we go with just five bowlers, not with any additional part-timers or any all-rounders? So I think
Mhm.
India have learned a lesson. They are sticking with those six bowlers initially because Hardik Pandya and Jadeja are going to give you those 10 overs and your other main four bowlers will be giving your 40 overs. But yesterday, it is a genuinely 320, 325 wicket. I thought it was like that only. It was just our bowlers just pulled the job for us, especially Shami, who did an extraordinarily bowled extraordinary. Even in the first power play, also, even Bumrah was not getting that much movement, but Shami is getting that single mode really well, and that sets up the game for us initially. But even in the middle overs, also, Shami was the one who made the difference. And
Yes.
time and again, Shami is just giving that what do you say a good headache for the selectors and the management. Why am I sitting in the bench?
True, true.
So I think it's a good team overall. Again, it's a very good team performance. Once again, the opener set the job for us very easily, but Shreyas Iyer just got out pretty soon, and again, time
Yeah.
and again, one or the other just put their hands up and they're just performing for
Yeah.
us, and it's a very good sign for us.
And that actually brings to one interesting question. R. Ashwin, where do you see him figure out now? Because last time when we met, we spoke about R. Ashwin that it's the end of the road for him in ODI cricket, or at least white ball cricket for that matter. But there comes, like, Rohit Sharma did mention in the press conference that he's been talking to R. Ashwin
Yes.
on phone, and there he makes his comeback. So, do you think the team management would be interested in keeping Ashwin as an option just in case if if they want to go with him in place of Akshar?
Yes, that's the whole
uh,
idea behind this inclusion. him and Washington Sundar, they just want to try them out before the World Cup starts. Also, it's pretty unfair that we are just giving them three ODIs. If they perform as our likes, what happens if they don't? Even if you have Washington Sundar and Ravi Ashwin in the same squad, in the same lineup also, and I feel it will be pretty unfair to judge them with just three ODIs. If you have them in your plans, you should have tried them out for a year or so. That would have given a fairly good idea about them. But
Well, I think I
mm,
mean, they were never in the plans to begin with. I mean,
yes,
that opportunity came in just because a player has got injured. To put that straight, right, Praneeth? What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. uh, Also, it's about the uh, for example, if Australia is there are like too many left-handers in the team. So in those cases, I would see Ashwin in. Otherwise,
Hmm.
there's no spot for him in playing 11. Like it could be either Ashwin or Shardul Thakur. Uh, like based on the conditions and horses for courses, one of them would play. Like if it's a Chennai wicket, it's his home ground, so he would know the conditions in and out, and he could do really well. And Australia are whether Ashwin doesn't have a good record since past 6 years. Like
Hmm.
they were showing the stats that his average is somewhere around 65 with the ball, and that's not at all great in ODIs. But Australia are really tentative when it comes to Ashwin uh, because of the what you call
The
because
name
of
he
the
brings to
past
the
and
game,
all the
basically, yeah, the past
exactly,
and
yeah,
everything.
because of the
Yeah.
vibe he brings, all these things are there, right? So Ashwin could be handy in Chennai conditions against Australia. So I would pick him in place of Shardul Thakur in that game.
Hmm. Hmm. So, I mean, how do you see, just in case if we win the first two games, would you still be willing to play Rohit and Virat in the final game, just to give them
Yeah,
that feel of the international game?
yeah, you should give them like
Mhm.
it would be needed to bring Virat and Rohit into the momentum and into the groove before the World Cup, right? Whether whether it's a dead rubber or not, you have to bring him back into the game.
Right. I mean, one interesting move yesterday was obviously it wasn't shouldn't be called a move because he normally bats there. It's very unfortunate for him that he's playing at such a time when we have the likes of KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, obviously, who's untouchable. Ishan Kishan is there, and you have Prithviraj Gaikwad. So Gaikwad is competing with these three, right? And how good was he last night? Because some of the back foot punches were phenomenal. I mean, I really enjoyed it as much as I can say that. And he has been that one player, I think, along with Patidar in the middle, who could be those two players going forward for India as far as batting is concerned, who can fit into the mix of the things once Rohit and Virat make their way for youngsters. What do you think? I mean, how do you assess his game basically? Because Rituraj Gaikwad, even in the IPL, looks like that complete one-day player.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even in yesterday's game, he was not like generally when you're playing after a long time and when you're trying to cement the place, people tend to be desperate, right?
Hmm.
And they kind of go after the ball rather than waiting for the ball to come in. So whatever shots you see of Ruturaj Gaikwad and Shubman Gill for that matter, so everything was uh, most of them were played in the back foot, and even in the front foot they were waiting for the ball to come to them.
True.
So uh, that kind of minimizes the risk of getting out and all those things. So that was good to see. Yeah, go on.
There's one thing that, yeah, there's one thing, Shravan, with this team is the clarity of roles they have. Like, for example, if you are talking about Rituraj Gaikwad, who has come back, as Praneeth was saying, who has made a comeback, who's trying to basically, obviously, everybody wants to play for the country and would want to cement that position, right? We all know that Rituraj is there for time being because Rohit is not there, and he would be back to the other squad to play the Asian Games, right? And you never know when he's going to get that next chance, all right? But still, risking that opportunity and playing your own game, how much confidence the team management must be instilling in these players, right?
Yes, in that way, I think the management and the players have understood their roles and they're performing accordingly. Also, Rutu has that technique and temperament to play this format. That's what he's been exceeding exceeding very good other than others. So actually, yesterday it was a very good treat to watch. After a long time, I thought that we can have that revenge. Like Finch and Warner will just finish off the game with 10 wickets in the past series. I had a feeling that yesterday Ruturaj and Gill will finish like that. But somehow Zampa did spoil sport for us. But yeah, again, it was a very good batting from both of the openers. It is really like a miracle nowadays because KL Rahul came back from the injury.
Hmm.
After a long time, he's playing a game, but he has never lost his touch. Bumrah came in after a long injury setback. He just played the game like he was never had that laid back. Again, Ruturaj playing this international format, that too ODI format. He's just playing a lot of T20s off late,
Yes.
but still they just not lost their touch. So these are very good signs for us. Even if the stalwarts like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli goes back, and I still think the game's in very good hands in the future also for us.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, you never know when the opportunity comes because Aksar Patel was in the mix and he was selected for the World Cup squad, but suddenly he got an injury. The gates are open for an off spinner now.
Yes.
So you never know when the opportunity knocks and what awaits you on in the store. Even in the
Yes.
last World Cup also, during the World Cup was ongoing, there was so many injuries and Mayank Agarwal came in for Vijay
Hmm.
Shankar. So these things could happen. So I think having Ruturaj in the mix will be a very good option for us. Even if there is anything happen for our openers, then we can rope him in for that
Yeah,
role.
you can draft him straight into the side because obviously, like he's got the feel of the runs now, feel of the
Yes.
international basically. So he becomes an immediate fit straight away. Coming back, Praneeth, to the game yesterday, do you think Australia were maybe 30, 40 runs short? Because let me tell you something. With Mohali, the thing is, you can score those quick runs early on in the second innings, but once that first 10, 12 over phase passes, it begins to grip a bit. That has been the traditional Mohali wicket, right? And had Zampa got involved in the game a bit too early, then, or if they had played, maybe Tanveer Sangha was the one spinner they had in their ranks, it could have been a different story. I mean, Australia would have definitely challenged India even with maybe 310 or 320.
Yeah, even in yesterday's game, if Australia scored
Yeah.
like 310, it would have been challenging for India. Uh, right. And also, I felt they could have played. They played with Matthew Short uh, again because of the extra batting depth.
Hmm.
And I think Matthew Short is a temporary sort of a replacement because Ashton Agar is not available for
Yes.
First ODI, right? I think he's back for second ODI. So
Okay.
that was the makeshift replacement. So, like you
Mhm.
said, Tanveer Sangha would have been a better option, but Tanveer Sangha doesn't provide that batting depth which they were looking for. But at the end of the day, there's no point of having 10 batsmen, right? Like
Exactly.
even uh, uh, that
If the
becomes
top
like way too
nine
many
don't do
batsmen.
their
Yeah,
job, then obviously you don't expect the number 10 to come and score the runs for you. It's going to be, yeah.
exactly right. And also yesterday, uh, see David Warner and Mitch Marsh got out early. David Warner and Smith were doing reasonably well. Then after that, it was Marnus Labuschagne and Cameron Green. They kind of uh, played very slowly, right?
Yes, they were sluggish to begin with, especially
Yeah.
Cameron Green. I think he scored 18 or something in 31 balls, if I
31.
remember correctly.
Yes.
And then, yeah, that actually slowed down the game a bit. And when obviously Shami came back, because Shami struck in three different spells, basically, right?
Uh,
In the first power play, and then he came back and got Smith out, and then he picked up those three wickets right at the very end, right? So I think it was an amalgamation of both, wherein there was some brilliant bowling and also some poor batting right in the middle by the middle order batsmen. Shravnan, a very important question. I think our feeling was our catching, especially, wasn't up to the mark with Rahul dropping one, and who else dropped the other one? I forgot
Shreyas
actually.
Iyer.
Shreyas.
Shreyas
Shreyas
Iyer,
Iyer.
yes.
Was it that?
We did saw in the game against Nepal, three catches going down in the first 3 overs. And I mean, we are getting there, but I mean, it's like an installment plan. All right. You don't have that consistency maintained right throughout. All right. We are a brilliant fielding outfit. We did really, we caught everything in the games against Sri Lanka, in the final, the game against Pakistan. But the Nepal game and last game were a bit here and there. Do you think it's going to be like, tricky if we miss out something on a big opportunity in a big game? You call it a big semi-final, and if India don't show up while fielding, then it's going to be curtains for you. So it is going to be really important. And how do you see it? Where exactly are we going wrong when it comes down to fielding?
I mean,
Uh,
yesterday,
in case of
see,
fielding,
yesterday
I
was,
think,
Hmm.
yeah, go on.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead,
on.
Shravan.
So yeah, like yesterday, what happened was I think Shreyas Iyer, like in the entire, like even in the batting, you were able to see that desperation in him. So I
Yes.
feel maybe that desperation, like him dropping that dolly is like literally that is never expected out of him.
Yeah.
So I could give that benefit of doubt to Shreyas Iyer because of that playing after a long time, and also him trying to desperately trying to prove that he's a good enough player. And KL Rahul, again, his keeping not even not also catches. It's just the amount of misfielding he was doing in the keeping. That was like too much. And when it comes to big teams, you need to cash in on the half chances. Then
Yes.
only then only you're about then only you can win the games, right? So
True.
also, uh, Brad Haddon was saying that in the commentary that KL Rahul, I think in the second over or third over, got hit on his finger, right? After that,
Hmm.
he was being bit tentative with the keeping,
The keeping.
because he was worried that he might injure himself.
Okay.
So those things kind of played into his keeping skills. So
Hmm.
yeah, they
Well, I
need
think
to.
as far as Shreyas is concerned, I mean, he's a good enough player. I mean, he doesn't have to prove it, except those short balls at, let's say, 140, 145 kph. But I think he should probably be trusting the process. And because even the run out, for that matter, I mean, there was no run there. I mean, he came out of the blocks and started a bit, and then took a few steps ahead, and then had to return. Obviously, like, he wasn't gonna make it anyhow. So that shows a bit of desperation down there when everybody else around you is contributing, and you are so eager to prove a point that, all right, you belong there, and you want to prove that that number four slot is yours.
Right,
I
and
think,
also
yeah, there's a,
there are players in that, right? Like even Surya Kumar Yadav did well, even KL Rahul is
Yes.
doing well, even Ishan Kishan is doing well. So at this point, Shreyas's spot is in question. So
Yes.
that's why the desperation comes in.
Mhm.
yeah, complete toss up between now for the number five slot. It's with Asian Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, or Shreyas Iyer. Because number four is sealed by KL Rahul, so no one is touching him there. I think that's the only thing got into his head of Shreyas Iyer. So he's so desperate now. He wants to do something, and that's how he just got out, and the catch was dropped. Also, it's a sitter. You
Well, I
can't
think again
drop
there is
those
enough
catches, those
security
kind of
for these
catches.
players at the end of the day, right? Because with the amount of cricket India plays, you will have a Kohli or a Hardik or a Rohit sitting out at some stage, and then the team management would rest out somebody like a Shubman Gill eventually, right? Or a KL Rahul for that matter. So I think I wouldn't call them as second string players, because Shreyas Iyer is right at the top over there. But they
Yes.
would get their chances. I mean, they don't really have to be that desperate, because he has been named in the squad. He's going to be there in the World Cup. It's about getting that formation right, that playing 11 right. Okay, so I mean, if he takes one step at a time, maybe it's going to be eventually fine for him, trusting the process basically, and going with the flow. What do you think?
Yeah, trust him.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
if you come to the
That's
KL
true.
Rahul's case of wicket keeping, I think if India is going to pretty confirm, pretty sure that they are going to play both Ishan Kishan and KL Rahul in the playing 11, then I think Ishan Kishan make
Okay.
me keep for KL Rahul, because Ishan Kishan is a better wicket keeper than KL Rahul. So I think making Ishan Kishan to keep, we can minimize those misfieldings, and also he can cash in those uh, half chances also. So KL Rahul, I don't stress him too much with this wicket keeping also, because you are playing anyway these two players in the same level, so you can try Ishan Kishan as a wicket keeper, so that the drops will get minimized and the misfields also will get minimized. And for Shreyas Iyer, I think he needs to make that mindset change, and also the captain or the management has to speak with him that no, don't worry, your place is secured. So just play a natural game and trust your instincts on that.
I mean, I don't imagine KL Rahul keeping to Kuldeep Yadav actually on a turning track.
We saw it in the Asia Cup as also. It was not that much mark with Kuldeep, and even for Jadeja, when it is a turning track, he is not up to the mark to keep. So I think making Ishan Kishan in those pitches will help the team also, because you can't drop catches or misfield quite often in a single game. So it will eventually hurt us in the big stages.
Mhm, mhm.
And also Ishan Kishan, there's the thing, right? Keepers can't be good fielders in the outfield, right? And
Actually,
Ishan Kishan
you are
is
right.
facing the same issue, right?
Exactly. So I think KL Rahul, on the other hand, is a pretty safe fielder in the outfield as compared to Ishan
Also,
Kishan. So that's going to
KL
just balance
can
things out.
do well in the slips also. In the slip
Yeah.
corner also,
So
KL will do
that's
well.
just going to balance things out for the whole squad, basically. Ishan Kishan to keep and KL Rahul, in the outfield. So that's sorted.
That is sorted. Yeah, it's just a minute change here and there. That would sort things out, right? So I don't I don't see this as a problem. Like the
Mhm,
problem is that at the time, like when you don't have answers, but over
mhm.
here you have answers. It's just that you
I
need
think
to execute them.
we do have solutions internally. So I mean, there's nothing to worry about, right? Within the squad, you have players who can keep, you have players who can fill in. I mean, I'm glad that we have that number four spot fixed after, I don't know, 6 long years, I guess. So, I mean, I right now, even Shami has picked up a 5 wicket haul. So everything is ticked. You have runs from top order, runs from middle order, runs from lower middle order, and your bowlers are clicking, right? Swinging and seaming both ways. Spinners doing well. What else can you ask for? I mean, it's just those mistakes in the field when it comes down to catching. That's the only thing that you need to, fine tune a bit before you go into a major competition.
Exactly. Yeah, like fielding bit. That is something they could fine tune. And also India, if you see the pattern, whenever there is a huge gap and suddenly the new series starts, then they are they take some time to get into the group. Like in every
Mhm,
series, the first game, the chances are India is going to lose the game,
mhm.
because they make lot of mistakes over there. And either it could be fielding or batting, whatever it is. And then they kind of figure out like what are the issues. They kind of sort those things out, and uh, they come back into the game. But here's the thing, like you don't have those opportunities in the World Cup phases,
Yes.
right? Even in the league phase, if you lose like uh, initial two games here and there, and you're basically your semi-final spot is in question, so you need to be right there at every point.
You also need to take into consideration the rain effect. I mean, you never know because there's going to be monsoon, there's going to be rains. So, I mean, you're playing at 9 different venues, you'll be traveling a lot. And just in case if you're hit by rain at one of the venues and you have a point shed, then there's going to be all troubles. So that's one thing. And the other important question is, would you stick with the same spot tomorrow?
Uh,
Same
like
playing 11 perhaps.
same playing
Maybe
11
I can make one change, like
Mhm.
between Shardul
resting
Thakur and
Bumrah.
Prasidh Krishna.
Jasprit about to be rested tomorrow, you mean to say?
Jasprit, yeah, could be. We could rest in Jasprit Bumrah and bring back
Mhm,
someone else. And in third
mhm,
ODI, we can play the proper squad, like
mhm.
which is something which is supposed to be a playing 11 for the World Cup.
World Cup first game, yeah.
Yeah.
So no place for Shardul still in your playing 11 in the first
Mm,
game of the World Cup, right?
again, it's
Because
the
I
I'll
don't
tell you
see
something.
like
I mean, the
he is
problem
the
is,
only weak link.
yeah. I mean, that's what I was actually getting. Also, to be fair, there was a drop catch on his bowling, but the speed with which he bowls, and he all right, he somehow manages to pick those wickets, but he gets way too predictable. I mean, big teams will pounce on the opportunity when the ball is not swinging and seaming, and you have like WWs at about 125, 130 k. All right, he's not a Shami who can swing it both ways. He's not a Siraj who hits that length quite consistently with that pace and accuracy. And definitely he's not a Bumrah, right? So you are trying to have those 10 overs being filled by somebody who is not a 100% regular bowler. So that brings about, a big question, right? If you go on conceding 10 overs and 78 runs, then it's going to be a bit of a problem going forward, right? So that the team management should take into consideration.
Absolutely. Like
Also,
in
Shardul is
this
very
situation,
wavered in his line and length.
yeah,
He bowls
There
that's
was, a,
one
true.
there was a
one in the
worst economy
outside
that
off
I
stump,
saw
then he
yesterday
bowls an
for
outside leg stump.
minimum 300 overs bowled or something. I think he has the worst economy rate among the Indian bowlers after 300 overs.
Yes.
That's true. Like
Also,
even
setting a field for such bowler is another tedious task for the captain. Even in the yesterday's game, Rahul was really struggling. He's having
mm,
the mid off in the ring, and he's just bowling right up the ball in the offside also. So it's easy pick. Also for Warner, how you can bowl a short ball with 115 or 120 case deliveries? He
He
just
must
smoke you
smash
out of
like
the park.
right
That's what
even in the
happened
middle,
yeah,
yesterday.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
yeah.
happened, right?
It's,
Yeah,
it's completely no brainer to bowl short balls. If you are bowling short balls, then you need to trouble the batter at least. Make him struggle.
absolutely. Yeah,
But Warner is just waiting for those balls. Like he's reading
and
Shardul Thakur's mind and he's waiting where he's going to bowl next and he's just hitting it out of the park. So I don't see Shardul Thakur will play. If he plays, then I don't see why did you have what you say Akshar Patel, or in place of Akshar Patel you have Ashwin or
Or
Washington Sundar. I don't see.
they can do it this way
and
otherwise. Sorry, Praneeth. They can do it this way otherwise. Like the lesser ranked oppositions, you can rest out your main bowlers, all right, and then all right. So rotate, I would say, because 10 games on the trot and potentially 9 games on trot and potentially a semi-final would be way too heavy. And you can get the load management into picture over here. Rest out maybe a Bumrah in one game, all right? And then
mhm.
have Siraj, Shardul, Hardik, and obviously you have the luxury of the spinners. Okay, for somebody like, I mean, I don't want to actually write down any team because we all know what Netherlands did last time when they were like in the World Cups, right? So again, it's going to be completely dependent on how the pitches are playing in the tournament and how the teams are have prepared themselves and take those calls. I mean, like horses for courses. Use him in such situations or in such games where you think you have an upper hand going into the game and rest out your major player. What do you guys think?
I mean that's understandable. And also yesterday you're seeing Shardul Thakur's 10 over 80 runs, 75, 80 runs. That's
78.
because there was no
78.
sixth bowler to take care of that. But when Hardik Pandya is there, you could be like, okay, fine, we will bowl Shardul Thakur 4 overs. The rest 6 overs will be taken care by Hardik Pandya, right? And the second option is you need to take that risk of one less batter,
Mhm,
right? By bringing Mohammad Shami and Siraj, both of them playing in the same game.
mhm.
So that is the risk that they need to take. Otherwise, for me, it would be the toss up between Ravichandran Ashwin and Shardul Thakur as that uh,
Honestly, if it's a toss up
bowling
between
all
Ravi
rounder.
Shankar Ashwin and Shardul Thakur, I will go with Ashwin all day
Any day,
long.
Ashwin.
Yeah,
Any
Yeah,
day,
all day
in
long.
Ashwin.
spinning,
Yeah.
in spinning,
Because
if there is a little
there
bit
are
of turn,
reasons. There are reasons. First, you're playing in India. Ashwin is not a bad batter when it comes down to subcontinent wickets. That's the first thing. Second thing, he's a genuine wicket taker. Third thing, he can stem the flow of runs in the middle overs. Right? You've got okay. There's one place where we lack, and but I don't think even Shardul is really great in that area. That is fielding, right? Ashwin has slowed down a bit. Obviously, he's catching up with age now, and I mean, there are even Stevens when it comes down to fielding. Maybe Shardul could be slightly like better, but when it comes down to the proper skill set, okay, with the bowling, then I think Ashwin all day long would be an option. But if you want somebody who can score those 30, 35 brisk runs or something, then only Washington Sundar at that number can provide you that option. So for me, it's going to be a toss up between
Yeah,
Washington
Ashwin.
Sundar and Ashwin as far as playing 11 is concerned. So Shardul will be out of picture completely.
Yeah,
But I
I
don't
mean,
think so. Both Washington Sundar and Ashwin can make it to the squad.
No, no, I said
Either
toss
one
up.
of them will make it to the
It's
squad.
going to
And
be one between the
yeah,
two.
yeah,
I mean, it's not going to be,
yeah,
yeah, both.
yeah. If you take Ashwin and Shardul Thakur for one place, any day Ashwin can give you 10 overs in all games.
Yes.
Also, he can give you those quick runs. Even if it is not quick runs, you just need to knock around a bit and rotate the strike. Then Ashwin is the best bet than Shardul Thakur.
Yeah.
but do you think like England middle order batsmen, South African middle order batsmen, for them spin is like nothing at this time. If there is no nothing on offer in these pitches, like Jadeja and Ashwin, they will go for runs. With considering England's middle orderers, I think Livingston, Ben Stokes, all those
Mhm.
guys, they will just smoke him for runs. And
Mhm.
in South Africa also, you have middle order in place of as a
Larson is
David
very good
Miller and
against quick. Yeah,
Heinrich Klaasen. Yeah.
yeah, he's really good
So
I
against quick.
completely agree that, but even in pace also, Shardul Thakur and Ashwin doesn't have many differences. Also, even Ashwin can
Shardul
bowl
Thakur
those
is a
one tens,
spinner with a longer
one
run up.
hundreds.
Let's put
Also,
it that
at
way.
least Ashwin can have some variations, at least to make the batsman to stall
Mm.
a bit. But Shardul
I
Thakur
think
can't do that.
Ashwin is a
He can
very
pick you
clever bowler. Like,
wickets.
he has that proper
Yes,
mindset, like, to where to bowl and where not to bowl, or how to escape, how to get out of the situation if somebody's
he
trying to
thinks
attack
as a
you.
batter when he comes to bowl, and when he comes to
Yeah.
bat, he thinks as a bowler then. So I think
and that's
Ashwin
what
has
you're
a better
saying.
IQ.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what you're
I mean, he
saying,
has
right? At
that proper
what stage of
cricketing
cricket?
intelligence to say, to
Yes.
put it in
Exactly. Yeah.
proper words. So, I mean, for me,
Like
it's going to be
even
Ashwin all day long. I regret the decision taken by whoever it might be for not playing him in the finals of the WTC, because obviously considering the number of left-handers they had. Well, again, if you're playing in Lucknow, you're playing in Chennai, I don't think they would take him on so easily. Somebody like a David Warner, because he would be very cautious against Ashwin. Even the England batters, all right. England has a different philosophy of play right now, but I think you can take a chance on those turning tracks with somebody with as huge experience as Ashwin has got.
yeah, you could try that. And also uh, that's the thing, right? With England, India is playing in Lucknow is a slow and spinning wicket,
Mhm.
so over there Ashwin could be handy. So uh, it's like along with Ashwin, Jadeja, you have Kuldeep Yadav, so it would be a great trio to
Mhm.
think about, right? And
I don't know why, but I have a very funny feeling for that game. England is going to struggle big time because it does remind me of the 2016 six-match ODI series where Chahal and Kuldeep, like just spun the game in just spun the series completely. So I mean, it's sort of giving me those vibes wherein low end turning tracks, playing three spinners, it can just turn the game in your favor from the onset.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, like that could be possible. And what do you think about this thing? Like, even if it's not a spinning condition, instead of Ashwin, would you play Shami? Like
Well,
Shami, and
actually,
compromising in
that
batting, compromising a bit in batting,
I
and
would say
challenging
yes.
them to do well.
Yes,
I would say
yes.
yes
Take
because
the brave decision, back your batter,
yeah,
six
take a
batters,
brave
and go
decision
with five
because
bowlers.
if you have seven batsmen, you should be good enough when you're playing, especially in your home conditions,
Mhm.
right? If you're playing in
That's
Bangalore, if you for example if you're playing in Bangalore and you want eight batters, if your seven can't do a job, then the eight won't do. If Virat, Rohit, Shubman,
Mhm.
Shreyas or Rahul, Hardik, Jadeja, if they can't score, then you can't expect a Shardul to come and score 100 for you. I mean, let's put it that way straight. But Shami does add value, swinging ball both ways early on in the innings, right? We saw
Mhm.
that, like we have seen it over the years, basically. So having a specialist bowler on any given day would help you than having that extra 50-50 batsman.
True. Yeah.
Because Bangalore is a batting paradise. You need an
Completely.
extra bowler. You need that. Shami can give you wickets at any point of time. So
Well, I think
playing Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah will be an added advantage.
yes,
And also having
because
Hardik Pandya, so as a fourth seamer, it will be a whole lot of difference can make.
I think,
And
and
having
in the
Kuldeep
long run,
also,
that
it's completely
load could
sorted
be
out.
shared. In the long run, that load could be shared.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't really have to
yeah.
bowl everybody out. If Hardik is doing well, then you don't really have to bowl a Siraj all the quota. I mean, complete a
Hmm.
score of 10 overs. Maybe in some games
Also,
you
don't
may
want to
end
play
up.
all my three seamers in all games.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
exactly.
choose the pitch and
That's the
track.
thing.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the point that we were trying to make earlier, right? I mean, you don't really have to play all the three in one. I mean, in all the games, probably. Somewhere you may require that extra spinner, like we discussed, maybe Chennai or Lucknow or Delhi for that matter. Go with an extra spinner, rest out somebody, rest out a Shami maybe, or rest out a Siraj in one game because obviously Bumrah and Shami can be and then obviously you have to keep assessing Bumrah's injury, right? His comeback, his rehabilitation, because I mean, can he withstand all the 9 games or 10 games, right? I mean, if he needs a break in between, so maybe you should play him, let's say 6 out of the 9 games. All right, then what calls do you take? Which games he should be rested for? Because you need him in the knockouts 100%. No second chance, right? So you'll have to take those calculative decisions, right? Those intelligent calls that should be there all along, and then everything should be like, a mosaic coming through at one spot and fixing it. So only then you will be able to lift that trophy. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, right, you will be there and thereabout, and you'll say, oh shit, bad 20 minutes, we lost the game. One injury, we lost the game, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't
You
want
can't.
that to happen when every box of yours has been ticked in the Asia Cup and the game played last night. Because even Surya has got runs now. Shami has picked up a fiver.
Mhm.
What more do you want? Do you want a Shreyas a
Yeah.
year 100 in the next game? Maybe, who knows? He may just come down and
Yes.
score. Never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also, you don't want any weak links in the major tournaments. And
Yes.
at the same time, injuries are unpredictable. Like you saw Kane Williamson in IPL. Like you were like,
Yeah.
you never thought Kane Williamson can get injured with the amount of fitness he has. But
Hmm.
it's just the way he landed while taking a catch. He had that injury, and World Cup was in question actually. But it was his luck that he was able to make a comeback in the World Cup. And even
Let's
in
take
2019,
Naseem Shah's example. Naseem Shah's example,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Now he's missed out completely. He was their best bowler, their best bet actually in white ball cricket. Now
True.
they don't have options basically. Now they've brought Hassan Ali back in the
Awesome.
squad, right? Who
Right.
wasn't
Yeah.
even featuring in their ODIs for maybe last 6 or 8 months or a year or so. So I mean,
Hmm.
now we'll have to even think about the worst that may happen to us and take those calls. What if,
Right.
God forbid, Rohit gets injured? What if KL Rahul gets injured? So you'll have to have those things at the back of your mind and have that. I think the team is doing pretty good in that sense because
Yeah.
you have a like for like replacement kept in your ranks who will come there eventually and take those positions if required to. So you don't really. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a question mark because you cannot compare the outgoing batsman with the incoming one, but it would definitely give you a chance to go all the way through, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Also in 2019 World Cup, when uh, as per the names on the paper, KL Rahul in the middle order, and Shikhar Dhawan opening, that was looking good. But once Shikhar Dhawan got injured, they had to move KL Rahul over there, and everything went haywire in the middle order. Right. So
Actually, I don't
those things
understand
are
the decision
resolved
to
as
play.
of now.
I don't understand the decision to play Vijay Shankar even today. If Shardul Thakur is bad, if Shardul Thakur is bad,
Vijay
then I
Shankar
don't know
was
what to
worst.
say for Vijay Shankar, honestly.
Vijay Shankar was worst. That was the worst decision taken by BCCI at that time.
Because I felt
Yeah.
Even
like,
after,
we have gone back into 90s cricket all over again. Because
True, true.
Anybody could,
Yeah.
like, come down and make their debuts. I mean, though players are making their debuts even now, but I mean, he's okay cricketer when it comes down to, okay, he's a good domestic prospect, but he wasn't an international material by the looks of it. I mean, let's face it, because I mean, that's the thing. I mean, MSK. I mean, and then you compromise a solid batsman in place of in trying to slot Vijay Shankar into the squad. You compromise Ambati Raidu,
Ambati Raidu, yeah.
right? So these are the decisions. Like, you take a decision and then it backfires so badly that you end up losing a major competition. So in this squad or in this setup, I don't want somebody to come up and say, all right, you know what, this prospect looks good, let's go with him, or let's go with that person, right? So you have to have everything sorted right away, which looks like the case to be as of now, and head into a competition. If, God forbid, an injury props up, you know then you have a proper replacement. I mean, you have a Rituraj, who looks in touch. You have a Shreyas Iyer, who is in touch. You have a Surya Kumar Yadav, who's in touch. You have a Prasidh Krishna, who has played a game. You will have players in the Asian Games who have played a few games. So there will be players available for selection just in case if the situation arises. But let's hope it doesn't get that far, and we have a smooth, clean run up all the way to the finals and eventually go on and win it.
Yeah, that's let's hope that's the case. Uh, and also,
So
yeah,
quickly,
it's
predictions for tomorrow.
predictions for tomorrow. Again, I feel it would be 2-0. 2-0. India would be winning the game tomorrow. That's my
Hmm.
prediction.
I
Because
don't know. I have a funny feeling
Australia.
that tomorrow it's going to be Mitchell Marsh who would come out in that
Mhm.
frustration and anger of missing out yesterday, and then playing a blinder of a knock early on. I
Could be,
hope I'm
but
wrong.
Australia bowling, that is where they are having problems, right? Like they don't have out and out fast bowler in Mitchell Stark as of
Mm.
now, and Josh Hazelwood is also not playing. So there are some weak links in that area, which uh, which could make India win the game today. So it would be 55-45 in favor of India. So that's what I'm
That's a
thinking.
good number. What do you think, Shrivanan?
3-0. Straight away.
3-0. That's
India is a
been.
better team. Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Because
I'll swap
yeah, yesterday
I'll
also
swap losing
Australia
I'll
were
swap
locking.
losing the series to a World Cup win, or probably I'll
Oh,
swap next 6 months of victories for this World Cup win.
yes.
You know what?
If
It's,
there
it's
is a
quite funny
deal or
actually. When I
something
was
like
a
that,
kid,
I could make the
I
trade.
used to actually think, I used to pray that, all right, oh God, I mean, even if India don't win for the next 2 years, I'll be fine, I'll take it. But I just want India to win this tournament. I used to think that way.
Yeah. If there is a trade, something like that, I would take it. But
Uh,
yeah, given the form of the two teams now, I think India has the upper hand because Australia completely lacking a fast bowler. Like there is no Stark, Hazelwood, and they don't have Ashton Agar also. Even if he comes tomorrow, I don't think so. He can straight away make that impact. And India is all bases covered. I guess we are trying out the replacement players now,
yeah.
who are not even in the initial plans. We are trying out them. So I think India has upper hand in the next coming ODIs also. Even in the third game, we have the full strength squad, and we are going to try out our best 11 who is going to play in the October 8 against Australia in Chennai. So I think India will win this 3-0.
Mm. One last point before we wrap up. I know Shavanan has to go by 1:30. Praneeth has to go by 1:30. You know what? Talking about teams in general, England, Australia, South Africa, they were displaying some fabulous cricket in their conditions, but and that made a huge news, right? Right. There's a English form of cricket. There's South Africa with Klassen hitting those big shots, and then Australia, being consistent with their 300 plus scores. Now, do you think these teams coming to India, would they still be using the same template and go berserk over the bowling, or do you think them struggling?
I mean, they would go like England England and Australia for that matter. They will go with the same template, but I
Hmm.
feel South
South
Africa
Africa
could
would.
struggle. South Africa would struggle a bit, like in
Mhm.
some situations. Like here's the thing with South Africa, the weak link is unfortunately Temba Bavuma. Like he
Tempo,
always play, he always plays in the extremes. Either he gets out like really cheaply, or he plays a blinder of an innings. So it depends on
you're right.
him how South Africa does well.
You're right, actually, because whenever I've seen, even if I'm not watching the match, I would definitely go on one of the websites and check how many runs has he scored. Either he's doing pretty well, like maybe 37 or 40 of 17 or 20 balls, or 100 or a 60 or something, or he gets out on the first ball. I mean, these are the extremes that I've seen with Temba Bavuma. But let me tell you something. Temba Bavuma seems to be a very decent captain, especially with the tactical moves that he makes. He seems to be quite good. And if the middle order, if Markram, Van der Dusen, Miller, and Klaassen, you know, even if two of these four click in every game, then I won't rule South Africa out of the semi-final spot actually, because they have a pretty decent outfit. I mean, to say the least, because
Yeah,
especially
that's
with
true.
the attacking
No
mindset,
one would rule out
if
South
they can
Africa.
play as a team, right? Then I would definitely not rule them out.
Nobody has ever ruled out South Africa out of the World Cup contention.
No, there are a
They
lot of
themselves
experts
just
actually. I mean,
they just
we
got
are
knocked out.
just like casually discussing, but there are a lot of experts who don't even give them a chance, basically. So
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't rule South Africa
they
off
have
right
very
now.
good team now, and
Hmm.
but
hmm.
they play badly in the knockouts and they just get them eliminated. That's
I
the
mean,
case with them all the time.
so, well, look, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but coming to
it's
your
more of
question, I
a
think they don't
it's their
change the
history
tactics
now.
too much.
Yeah, it's their history basically. So I mean, teams do come out of it. So I mean, people may argue that all right, India has started choking in the trophies in the big tournaments, but I would never take that because they have been mistakes, they have been mismanagements, all right, they have been bad decisions. You don't choke because of a bad decision. If we were chokers, then we would have choked a lot many more times, which is not the case to be. So I mean, I think Mitchell Marsh said that they will be playing Pakistan in the finals. I mean, that was a very audacious prediction. I don't know where that came from, but he did say that. I heard it on so many other platforms. So maybe Shami getting him out yesterday was an answer. I don't know. Right. Is there anything you guys want to discuss? We don't want to discuss Shubman Gill, definitely not now, because he's cruising along to the number one position, and we will talk about him at length when he gets there. Though ranks don't matter, it's all about the team. But that's one thing that we would definitely want to discuss. Plus, he is the leading run scorer in 2023 with more than 1,100 runs, with 400s and a few 50s to his credit. So yeah, we will have to wait and see if he plays tomorrow, and if he plays, how does he go about his business? And do we have runs for Shreyas Iyer tomorrow? That's one box that we need to tick. Shreyas Iyer getting something big, or at least getting a start, or getting that confidence back in the groove. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in. It's been about 48 minutes, and we will take a leave now and come back probably earlier next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. We'll see how it goes, and we'll keep you posted. Thank you so much. Do like, share, and subscribe. We do need your suggestions. We do need your feedbacks. Do comment in the comment section. If you have anything to say, be out there. But just make sure you do like and subscribe our stuff. It's an honest effort to try, and we'll be getting back to you with much more stuff in the future. But for now, please do subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.